Testing. 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 1, 2, 3. Testing. 1, 2, 3. Testing. Okay. More. Testing. 1, 2, 3. Okay, that's good. Testing. 1, 2, 3. Testing. 1. If anybody's joining me live today, please give me a thumbs up or something in the comments and let me know that you can hear me okay. And I'm going to go ahead and get started. Hello, my Life with Crypto brothers and sisters. Welcome to another Money Monday crypto training. I'm your host, Kelly Sunshall. And as most of you already know, I just got back from an amazing 2-week trip to Florida. The fun started in Miami, where I attended the ETH Miami conference, and it concluded in Tampa, where I visited with family and friends. Next week, I plan to share more morsels of information that I gleaned from the conference. So you will definitely want to attend next Money Monday training to learn all about what I learned while I was there. So today I am here to discuss 3 things with y'all. Now, I haven't been here for at least 2 weeks, and it's time for us to get reconnected, reacquainted, and get caught up with what's going on in the crypto world. So today, the 3 things I want to talk about are the next bull run. Well, I'm just calling it the bull run now. The buying opportunities that are around the corner, and the ETH ETF. So stay tuned as we dive deep into the world of crypto. So first, let's talk about the bull run. Now, keep in mind, as I said, I've been on vacation for over 2 weeks. So let's look at the Bitcoin chart together. And there are some data points that I want us to look at. And those are the historical outlook, the volume indicator, and moving averages. So I have a chart here that I made a screenshot of just before this creating this training, and we're going to look at this together. And here it is. So this is from TradingView, and this is a screenshot of Bitcoin on a 1-week chart going back to 2020. So we're looking at roughly 4 years. So this is what I would call a historical chart. And what I want us to focus on in this chart is a couple of things. First, notice just how steep this movement in Bitcoin's price happened when the bull run started back in 2021. And the other thing to notice is look at what the volume was doing. Look at how strong the volume was. It was very strong. And then, which I thought was unusual, we had a second top for that bull run. And what's interesting about this top is the volume. The volume was very low compared to what it was when it got started. So those are things I just want you to notice. And we're going to take a little bit deeper dive look into just a section of this chart. So I'm going to take a look at this part over here, and this is the more current time frame. This starts at January 2023 and takes us to current time. So let's take a look at this chart together. All right, now this is a zoom in of that section that I just showed you in the prior picture. So again, as I said before, this started in January of 2023 and has been steadily going up since then. Now, as you can see here, this W stands for weekly. So this is a weekly chart. And I'm using this chart to show what the trend looks like. And the trend is definitely uphill. And as the old saying goes, the trend is your friend. Now, there's a couple of things, as I said when I first started this video today, there's 3 things we want to look at. So I'm going to start in this video, or excuse me, in this chart by looking at the moving averages. So these two circles that I've drawn here are pointing out what the moving averages were doing. So this moving average, the 8 is I have the 8, 34, and the 144 going on here. So the 8 is the yellow, the 34 is the green. So right as this price movement upward started back in January, the 8 moving average crossed over the 34. That was a very bullish moment. And that was right at the end of February. And sure enough, the next week, we had a huge pop up in the price right after this moving average crossed the 34. All right, so that's one piece of information to notice. All right, now the next one is notice that this 8 stays above the 34 this whole time. And it doesn't roll over and act like it's going to cross below the 34 until right around here. And this time frame, I believe, was in September. So in September, it looked like that this 8 was going to cross below the 34. This is what I was watching in September. This is what I was looking for. Everybody wanted to know, are we in a bull run? Are we in a bull run? I couldn't make my decision until the markets told me what it was going to do at this point. And as you can see, it did not cross down and go down further. If it had, I would have said we were potentially not in a bull run. If that price had come down somewhere to where this low was, I would have said, no, definitely we're not in a bull run yet. But that's not what it did. So what it did was it bounced off the 34. Okay, it bounced off and then kept going. That's another very bullish signal. So now let's look at the 34 moving average crossing into the 144. The 144 is the red one. So the green one crosses the red one right here. Notice what the price movement is doing. Huge spike, and continuing to spike. So now all of these moving averages are moving in a very bullish pattern. To me, this is a very good sign that we are in the early stages of a bull run. Now, why do I say early stage instead of saying that we are actually in a bull run? Well, let's go back and look at the volume in this other chart. The reason I say that we're in the early stages of a bull run as opposed to being in the full-blown bull run is because of the volume. The volume is still very low, very low. Even though we're having a nice uptrend here, volume is not showing that a lot of new investors are jumping in. And that's what we need in order to have a really big bull run. So I'm watching this, and you should probably watch it too. Okay, let's move on. I hope that little bit of technical analysis was helpful. If it was, please give me a thumbs up in the comments or share what you're thinking. So, second, let's talk about buying opportunities. So based on the charts that I just showed you, do you believe you've missed out on this bull run? Or do you think there's more uptrend to come? Well, for myself, I'm in the camp that believes there's a lot more uptrend to come. But it won't go straight up. There's going to be ups and downs. So there will more likely be some pullbacks. And those pullbacks present buying opportunities. Now, I was so busy doing all my education and coaching stuff, a few weeks ago before I went on vacation, that I didn't get cash put into place so that I could take advantage of buying some Bitcoin or altcoins when prices were at their lowest right before this took off. I mean, I knew it was coming, and I just didn't bother making myself take the time to go get some cash. Thanks, Jeff. I appreciate your comments. Jeff says, I think it will pull back and then take off again. Jeff, I am right there with you. So that's why I'm talking about opportunities right now. We haven't missed it. All we've done by reading these charts is we have now confirmed, at least I have confirmed to myself, that we are in a long-term bull trend. The trend is upward. So I am now waiting for some other opportunities. And when I got home from vacation, I got home late Thursday, so we'll say Friday. I bought some Bitcoin the next day on Friday. And now I'm watching the markets for a pullback so I could potentially buy a little more and maybe a couple of altcoins. I got my eye on a few of them. And people like to ask me, well, which ones? Well, I'll tell you about at least one of them. One of them that's on my radar is MVI, Multiverse. I think it's called Multiverse Index. And this is a way for me to have exposure to gaming projects without actually having to follow any of the gaming projects. So I like to just buy this index. And I've owned it once before and it did well for me. So I've just been waiting for another opportunity. So there's something that you can consider. Okay, now third, this training's going a little bit long today. I'm sure you all won't mind. So thirdly, let's talk about the ETH ETF. What is it and why does it matter? Well, the ETF news is very positive for people interested in trading Ether, and the charts reflect this in the price action. So let's look at this chart that I have here. So this is a chart of ETH bought with US dollars. And what I want to show you, this is a daily chart, by the way. The last chart was a weekly chart. This is a daily chart. So what I want you to see is that the announcement, it happened while I was on vacation, but I did notice it. The announcement that BlackRock had an ETH ETF, that it had been already registered with the NASDAQ. That news came out on November 9th. It was confirmed. People were able to go in on the NASDAQ, however they do that on the back end, and confirm that an ETH ETF had been registered. And on that day, the price of ETH jumped up 12% in one day. You could have made good money just on that day if you had been paying attention and was expecting this announcement to come. I was not. I mean, I knew it was coming. I did not know the ETH ETF was coming. I knew the Bitcoin ETF was coming. I hadn't paid attention to the ETH one. So also notice what happened to the volume. Huge volume spike. And this volume is partly what drove the price up. So why does this matter? For a trader, any kind of excellent news, fantastic news, positive news can cause a spike in price, either up or down. If it's negative news, it can cause a spike down. So we can't just put our heads in the sand and just trade charts. You have to know, you have to keep up a little bit with what's going on in the world, some form of fundamental analysis in addition to this technical analysis. So let me go on. I've got a little bit more to share with you. What is BlackRock's ETH ETF? ETF, for those who don't know, stands for Exchange Traded Fund. This new ETF is based on Ether futures. It is not a spot price ETF, which means that it's not based on the market price of Ether. It's based on Ether futures. And those two prices can be very different. The price of an Ether future can be very different from the spot price of Ether. So this permits fund managers to speculate on the future price of ETH via the futures markets. Investors and fund managers alike will be able to trade the ETH ETF like a stock. This means you can hold the ETH ETF in your 401k or even an IRA. Now, again, this is huge positive information coming out, positive news coming out for Ether. And we saw in the chart that I just showed what it did to the price. It really spiked. So that was a little gift that happened while I was gone, because my biggest bags are in ETH. I've held ETH for many years. So that was a really nice surprise. And news can do that for you in either direction. So the bottom line is the BlackRock ETH ETF is very bullish for the price of Ether, as we saw by the one-day price jump. So in my little summary now, I want to thank you so much for joining me. I want you to stay tuned for more updates on the game-changing development of crypto ETFs, because the next one we need to watch for is the Bitcoin ETF. And from what I remember before I went on vacation, we're expecting to hear more about this towards the end of this year. So that could be the big catalyst that caused the next major pump for this Bitcoin bull run, which I believe started in January. I really believe that the bull market, the bull run already started. It just hasn't picked up full steam yet. And I believe that it's coming. Don't forget that the Bitcoin halving is next year. I believe it's I always forget, it's either in March or May, one of those M months. So be sure to tune in next week when I'll talk about some exciting developments that I learned about at the ETH Miami conference. I want to organize my thoughts and the data that I gathered. So I'll be organizing that this week. And next Monday, I'll definitely be excited to bring you some more information about what I learned, certain projects. So that's all I have for today. Remember, please like and share this video to help me spread the word about crypto and the future of finance. And as always, stay curious, keep learning, share your thoughts or questions, please, in the comments below. I always love to get those, and I will respond to all of them. So that's all I have for now. See you next week. Take care.